Okay, I guess am I doing okay? All right, here's my dough for my dumplings. I've already got it finished. In it, I have put 3 cups of flour. Oh, if I keep going, I'm gonna tell you my secret recipe, aren't I? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tell you my secret recipe later. But anyway, after I got it all put together with the butter and all that kind of stuff and kneaded it real good, I'm gonna set it off over here. And I'm gonna let it set while I'm doing the rest of my cooking. Okay? So y'all stay with me a little bit. Now, what I'm using is whipped cream, 32 ounces or 1 quart, which is actually 4 cups. Okay? So I actually shirking just a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna put all of that creamer in here. You talk about some rich soup. That's gonna be some rich soup. Now the next thing I'm gonna do, 2 cups of buttermilk. All right, cream really makes it. 1 and number 2. All right, so now, just so you'll know, my dumplings have got 2 cups of buttermilk, and the soup has got 2 cups of buttermilk. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, we're actually going to start this, stir it up good. So now we're going to put some chicken broth, which is actually 6 cups of chicken broth. So we're going to pour that in there. And I use this is a great value from Walmart, reduced sodium. Now there is 530 milligrams of sodium in this compared to 900, almost 900 in the standard. So it is going to save us a little bit on salt. Okay, but being that I don't eat a lot of salt, it will probably show up a lot of salt with me. Okay, but okay, we're gonna get rid of that. Hey man, I can play basketball after this. I'm gonna stir it again. Now the thing about it is, you'll notice that if you knew me, you would know I do a whole lot of cooking on cast iron. But bad thing about cast iron, when you're cooking with milk, it tends to burn your milk because the cast iron will hold the heat. You can't adjust it all that well. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, now I've got my butter. Now this particular butter, this is the 2nd stick of butter I've used. Both of this, all my butter is unsalted, real butter, not the margarine or the oleo or the other kinds of stuff that you buy. Okay, I use real butter. And what I'm going to do to start with, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to light my fire. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to get this butter hot enough, but not super hot. I'm just going to get it kind of warm. I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to start cooking my other what I call my soup. Now, while the soup is cooking, okay, run the fire down real low. In just a minute, as you can hear, my butter is getting soft. Okay, but what I'm going to do is we'll take it off the fire. I'm going to let it sit there a minute, because all I want to do is get soft. It's going to get hot enough in here to melt. Okay, so it's going to eventually melt anyway. But what I want to do is I don't want it to have to burn anything in order for my, because what happens is, if you want to look down in here, if you want to look in here, all I did was run it over the fire there just for a little bit. And the best way to melt butter is with butter. So when you start melting butter, it continues to melt as long as it stays semi-warm. Okay, so what I'm talking about, it just keeps going. I've got it completely off the fire and it's still melting, but my skillet's not hot. I mean, my pot's not hot. It's just the fact that the butter. Now, what this recipe actually calls for is clarified butter, which I don't have any. But to get clarified butter, what you have to do is you take regular unsalted butter and you boil it until it breaks apart. Actually, you heat it until it breaks apart. When it breaks apart, the solids will fall to the bottom and you'll have all what they call amber gold. and it will be pure butter, no solids, and that's where you come up with clarified butter. Those of you who have only met me once so far, I will be having another. I'll have another introduction. So that's cool enough. So I'm gonna put that in here. Put that back over there and put that in the wash pot. Okay, now I'm gonna let that start heating. I'm gonna keep stirring it here and there. All right, I'm gonna take my lid and put the lid over here to hold my spoon. Okay, right there. Come on, spoon. There we go. Now, meanwhile, I can get my chicken ready. What I'm doing is I'm letting that cook while I come over here and get my chicken. I gotta get another pot. Come over there. I'm way out here. As you can see, I'm living out of a truck, kind of. Y'all already met Anthony, but this is his truck. And poor guy, he didn't know what he was getting into when he said, hey, I could ride with him, he'd bring my gear. My box of cooking gear probably weighs, I would assume, probably 60 to 70 pounds. I'm gonna fill this pot up. Oh, by the way, yeah, this water's coming out of a water hose. I grew up on water out of a water hose. Nothing wrong with it, okay? But what I'm gonna do here, okay, I've got to put my chicken on to cook while this is still on low. Everybody's off for right now. Let's just leave that off. The first thing I'm gonna do is chicken thighs. Now I'm using leg and thighs. Okay. Now these, what I'm doing here is I actually want to break them apart. Sure they smell good. Okay. Now you'll see I'm leaving the skin on them while they cook. I'm cutting gashes in them because I want the chicken to cook in a hurry. All right, so I'm fixing. Oh, that chicken smells good. Okay, now this one got a lot of fat on this one, so I'm gonna peel that leg. I'm gonna take the skin off that leg. I'm gonna leave it on that other leg and thigh. Big old fat chicken. So what I'm gonna do here, a lot of people will just use breasts. But if you want flavor, you need to use dark meat. Because your white meat will have almost no flavor. Now I'm going to peel the skin off of this one. Those of you who don't understand and can't stomach what I'm doing, close your eyes for a few minutes, it'll be over. Let's go ahead and peel this drumstick while we're at it. And I'm going to put it over there on the high heat. It's only going to take about 20 minutes for this chicken to cook once it starts boiling. And because all I'm trying to do here is get it started so I can debone it. Yes, you heard me. I'm going to debone it very rapidly. All right, so first thing I got to do is come back over here and cut the fire back on. So I'm going to set this right here. All right, now I'm going to turn my fire up. Let that go ahead and start cooking. You're gonna find that if you cook with cast iron actually gets pretty hot pretty quick. All right, so we're gonna cook on that for a little bit. Next thing I gotta put in there is my carrots. Okay. All right, we're back. Y'all give Anthony a big old hand clap. He went down the road down there, picked us up my carrots. and he got me some other things. But I tell you, he's a lifesaver. But anyway, we're back. Now, you'll see right here, I've got about 4 large chicken breasts. Now, these are pre-cooked. If you're cooking them like normal, if you come off a regular chicken with them, you'll need to cook them about 15-20 minutes. I put the chicken in there with that. Now I'm fixing to pull my other chicken out. I'm gonna let that cook just a little bit longer while I get my carrots. Now, what I'm doing here, you'll see I'm using little carrots. And the only reason I'm using the carrots, I'm not crazy about carrots, but what carrots does for anything, it adds fiber and it adds sweetness. Alright. So I'm going to cut these carrots into little bitty pieces. Okay. And you'll see I'm not a chef. I don't sling that knife like them chefs do. If I did that, my mama would get mad at me, and we don't want that. I've seen my wife. My mama's gone to be with the Lord. I done told y'all that in my introduction. If you hadn't seen my introduction, it's in there on my channel. And if you're interested, you can always go in there and subscribe. I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind at all. Anthony, appreciate it. We'll let it cool off there just a little bit, because I'm fixing to have to put that chicken in there and let it start cooking some more. Now the carrots, like I said a while ago, the only purpose for having carrots in anything is to add sweetness. So if you want to add a little bit of sweetness to your meal, this is the way you do it. Now, I will be cooking with this meal, which I'll be steaming that in just a few minutes. We'll be working on broccoli and cauliflower. Now, some of y'all are like that. Some of y'all see me make a big mess over here, but you know what? Even the dogs got to eat. So we'll leave it out here for the squirrels and the coons. They'll come eat that. Meanwhile, I'm going to finish this so I can throw it in the pot. I'll be throwing this in the soup part. All right, there we go. So we're going to take this, and you want this in early, okay? You want your carrots in, any hard vegetables. You want them in early, because as soon as you can start cooking them, the better. So what I'm fixing to do here, I'm going to start cooking them. We're going to start cooking again. We are now cooking. All right. Now, I'm going to let that cook. It's still hot. It's still hot from the first time. Meanwhile, I got to do something with my chicken. So, what I do in my situation, you do this any way you want to. I'm coming over here to my brown meat, my dark meat chicken. Okay. Remember what I said. The dark meat is your most flavorful chicken. Now, your white meat is good. I'm not knocking white meat. But dark meat chicken actually tastes better, okay, to me. That's my opinion. But here it is. As you can see, it's cooked. It's about trying to fall off the bone. Now, what I'm going to do here, because I don't want to take all day for this to cool down. Going back over to my green water hose. Okay. And I'm going to cool my chicken down. Now, that ain't going to get it ice cold, but what it is going to do, it's going to allow me, can you see me? What it is going to do though, allow me to get off the bone. Chop it up. Woo, goodness, that's hot. Okay? You know, most of y'all that's ever cooked chicken, you know it's got that little tendon on that leg. And you want to cut that out. If you don't, it's going to be all tough. I don't like folks complaining about my cooking. So now, you're going to see after I get it off the bone, I'm going to throw the bone in there. Why? Because there's a lot of flavor in that bone. If you want to get even more bone flavor out of the bone, you break that bone in half. But I'm not going to take the time to go through and break the bone in half and all that kind of stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm getting this chicken off the bone, and after this soup cooks for a while, and I start putting my dumplings in, we're going to have, you go ahead and stir this, because remember, it's cooking. The thing you want to remember about chicken and dumplings is every time you pick up your fork or your spoon, however you decide to eat your chicken and dumplings, you want chicken and dumplings. Okay? You don't want just chicken, and you don't want just dumplings. If you had wanted chicken, you would have had, you wouldn't be eating with me, because I'm eating chicken and dumplings. If all you wanted is dumplings, you'd have got you some Pillsbury biscuits and cooked them, half cooked them in the oven. What everybody tells you. Tastes like raw biscuit dough, but it doesn't. Mine don't. If they do, somebody's taster's wrong. Alright. I love dumplings, and I love chicken and dumplings. Now, if I'd have had time this year to do a little hunting, if I'd have had that time, I'd have went over there and I got me some squirrels up behind my house, and I had squirrel and dumplings. Now, if you want something good, well, squirrels don't seem to like squirrel and dumplings too much, but I do. My wife don't eat squirrel and dumplings. Not again. My wife don't eat squirrel and dumplings. My daughter does. Both of my kids do. Excuse me, all three of my kids do. Of course, my kids are kind of like their daddy. They're kind of weird. We all like fried rattlesnake too. So if that disgusts you, let me know. Send me an email. You can contact me at my email. That's going to be at deansspacemail@gmail.com. Contact me. Tell me you don't like that kind of stuff, and I'll pray for you. Because if you don't like squirrel and dumplings, probably never tried it. Or you had them cooked wrong. So, I promise you that chicken is hot. Even after cooling it off, it's still hot. So what I'm doing is I'm fixing to put all this back in the pot with my soup. Cutting up the big pieces. And we just gonna throw all of that, minus that piece of skin. Okay, put all that chicken in the pot. Now, I'm gonna let that cook. And I'm gonna clean up my dishes. I'm gonna let that cook for a little bit. And I'm gonna go clean up my stuff, and I'll be right back. Y'all stick around now, you hear? Okay. I put 1 capful of white vinegar. Now, that enhances the flavor of everything in the pot. Now, I like to mess it up. It went to boiling on me, and I was over there washing my dishes. I'm a firm believer when you're messing with chicken, you got to keep everything really clean. And folks, I'm going to plug in for Gatorade. Okay, see my Gatorade dishwasher detergent? You won't find it just anywhere. Actually, that's not Gatorade. That, my dear friends, is Dawn dishwashing detergent. The best, as far as I'm concerned. The best dishwasher detergent there is. Okay, really good. Okay, Dawn, you heard me say that, didn't you? All right. They're really good. It cuts the grease, cuts the grind, smells good, good for your hands, good for your skin. Then if you have to get your hands all greasy like I do sometimes working, you can always go back, use it full strength. You go back and use it full strength, and it cuts the grease right off your hands. Grease, oil, and stuff like that if you're a mechanic and kind of person. All right. Don't forget now, y'all don't let me forget to take the bones out, okay? Once this thing cooks good, we're gonna let it sit there and cook for a little while. We want it to enhance that flavor. Now I gotta work on my dumplings. Now while my soup's cooking, it probably helps out opening right into the picture, the thing, you know. What I'm gonna show is two different ways of doing the dumplings, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set one of these plates right here. Okay. Now this is a, what they call a progressive pastry mat. And what it does, of course, it's really good. It shows you the patterns for making pizza dough, and I use that too. I make my own pizza dough. A while ago, I finished this up. This is my dough. I let it set for a little while, let it get kind of cool. I wanted to be able to work it with, and see it's just a good glob. Now there's three different ways of doing dumpling. I'm going to show you two of them. What I'm doing here is I make me a ball. Now, if I had a rolling pin, which I left at home, I could roll this out. But since I don't, what I'm going to do, now this is a non-stick surface. You see what I'm telling you? Now, the only problem with a non-stick surface is if you don't watch it, it'll stick. And what you want to do, come over here and get you some more flour, okay? And you're going to take your flour and you're just going to sprinkle it a little bit down here. Not much, just a little. Okay, there you go. All right. Now, you're going to take your dough. You're going to take your dough. You're going to take your dough, and hang on just a second. I'll be right back with you, okay? You back with me now? Okay. Sorry about that. Had a slight interruption. And I had to take care of some business. All right. Now, what I've done right here, okay, as you can see, I patted that out about a 1/2 inch thick. Okay, and because I patted it out about a 1/2 inch thick, I can now take my knife that I've lost. Oh, there it is. I take my knife. Now, one other thing, you don't want to cut on this pad, so I go back and get my cutting board. Okay, because if you scratch it all up, then it will stick. So I take this off. Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut about 1 inch, about 1 inch strips, like so. Don't have to be exact. Me and that bumblebee going to have a problem in a minute. He is no more. Okay, back to, careful, I throw him in the stew. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut it here. By the way, that's some of my ninja skills too. Oh, here comes his brother. You're going to come back and avenge me, I guess. But that's the pitfalls of cooking outside. You invite everybody to the meal. So what we can do here is we break this apart, and this is what your dumpling looks like. Okay, you're going to have your dumpling is going to be about a 1 inch square, maybe about a 1/2 inch thick. What you're going to do with that dumpling? No, because we want to take our bones out before we do. So what we're going to do, it gives a little plate over here. We can put all our dumplings here. We get them all ready to go in the soup. Now these dumplings are not going to take long to cook. Okay, and I may just go ahead and put them in there and let them cook while I'm deboning, while I'm taking the bones out. I could do that. You could do that. It's all up to you. It's your, it's your food. Now the other way is to break off a chunk of it. Do the same thing again. Okay. If I had a rolling pin, if I had a hammer, I had a hammer in the morning. Well, no, I wouldn't. Okay. But next thing is to tear chunks off. Okay. So we're going to have chunk. Now this takes less time. It makes you a more weird dumpling, I guess you'd say. It's not conformed. It actually kind of weird. I prefer the cut dumpling. I really do. But when you're cooking, okay, remember now, just add your little more flour down here. When you're cooking dumplings, you don't want to waste a lot of time. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to patty this out to about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little less. I'm going to patty it out. Okay? And like I said, if I had a rolling pin, I'd roll it out, but I don't. You may have a rolling pin, and I have got 3 of them at my house, and not never one of them gotten Anthony's truck to come with me. They all decided they didn't want to come, so I get to do this without my rolling pins. But what I'm doing here is I'm just spreading it out. I'm making them real thinner, trying to stay about a 1/2 inch thick. But I keep going with my dough, okay, until I get it about where I want it. But if you look at this, I'm gonna bring it over there so you look at. If you look at it, you're gonna see it's consistent. All right, see it's about a 1/2 inch thick everywhere. You can see the butter that I put in it is still in there. So this is gonna be a buttery dumpling. Now what I'm gonna do here is actually I'm gonna cut a strip here. I'm gonna cut a strip here, and then I'm gonna cut long strips on this one. There again, I'm going down about a inch by 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm gonna turn these around this way, and I'm gonna cut them off. Now, those of you who, whenever I go to serve this, you're gonna see I eat mine with Tabasco sauce and other stuff. But anyway. Those of you who like hot sauce, some of you, oh, by the way, they're not paying me yet to talk about them, okay? Nobody is. I'm just having fun. One thing I've learned is that if I don't have fun, I'm in the wrong place, and I need to leave. So, I tend to have fun everywhere I go. I like other people having fun. I like to see people laugh. And most of them, when they see me, they laugh. Okay. So anyway, I'm just about cutting this dumpling up. In fact, if you'll give me just, I'm going to finish this up and I'll be right back. All right. As you can see, taking chicken out. Now, what I do with this, I'm a little bit, like I told y'all, I cook when I get through finding all the chicken. There we go, chicken bones. Okay. I'm going to set them over here. Okay, whoops, there was one. Nope, that's not one. That's not one. All right, that should be all the chicken bones. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to set that over there and let them cool. Meanwhile, I'm fixing to start throwing my dumplings in. Now, folks, you don't want to dump your dumplings in all at one time, okay? What you want to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I put 15 of them dumplings in. I let it cook for a couple of minutes. I stir it. I know you wonder what's going to happen to that other chicken you got laying over there. It's fixing to go in the pot here in a minute. But that was 15 dumplings. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to get me another handful of them. And I'm going to go number 1, 2. Oh, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's number 15. That's 15, 16. Now, I'm going to let them cook a couple of minutes. I'm going to stir them. Now, anytime during this process, go in there and add our other chicken. Okay, anytime we want to. There's not any dead set time that you have. that if you want to add your chicken. What I'm going to do, because my chicken was pre-cooked, excuse me, my chicken's already in there. The white meat and the dark meat are both in there. In fact, show is. There's plenty of chicken. Okay? I forgot I'd already put it in. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Put another 15 in there. We're going to stir it up again. We're going to bump our fire up a little bit. Just a little. And the reason for that is every time I put a pot of dumplings in, it drops the temperature of my soup. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And there's baby number 15. Now, if you want to do it, it's up to you. You can dump them all in there at one time, but they're going to stick together. That's how come you do them separate. Okay? Is that you don't want them to stick together, but you want them to come out just off of being gooey. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You can put down in there you want to see. 14, and that's a big one. That's 15. That's one of them busted ones tore off. Okay. Now we're gonna let that cook about just a couple of minutes. Okay. We're gonna put another batch. We're gonna keep going until we got all of these dumplings in. If it gets a little thick, we're gonna add some water to it. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 15. Okay, we put another 15. Now, I had a quick counting a while ago. I don't know how many 15s I've actually done, but I'm running out of dumplings. See, I've used a lot of dumplings. Now, y'all liking it so far, huh? Yeah, okay. Shake your head and say yes. Shake your head and say yes. Oh well, you're not gonna shake your head. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Stir it up just a little bit again. Now, if you want to, totally up to you. If it gets a little thick and you think you need to do something, you can add milk to it. Okay, you can add more milk. I add water because if it's thick, the milk will thicken it up. Okay, so you got to be careful with milk. You can do that, but you're eventually going to have to go back and add some more water. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're about out, so I moved it on up to 20. Okay. Ooh, it's starting to look good in there. Okay. So we're going to go over here and we're going to finish up this bunch of dumplings out real quick. We just go ahead and put them in there. All right. We just go ahead and we're dropping them so that they don't hit on each other when they're just put in. We want to scatter them. Every time you put dumplings in, you want to scatter them out a little bit so they don't hit up on the newest ones that go in with them. That's why you do 15 or whatever you want to do at a time. Now, yeah, it's looking good. Now, if you want to, you can enhance this by putting some potatoes. You can chop up some potatoes. Okay, y'all. I hope you didn't see that. I just cut my fire off. I was going to turn it down real low. The type of cooker I'm using don't let me do that real easy.
Actually, it's still lit.
Oh, it came back. But I wanted to turn it down real low. And thank you, sir. Glad you told me that. Now, about to. Woo, that's hot. Still hot. All right. So, bones. Now, folks, if you want to make some really good broth, chicken broth, when you get through making your soup for your dumplings, take all them bones and just put them on a pot and slow cook them for about 3 hours. Take that broth after you've cooked it, let it cool down. Take that broth, cook it down till it gets a little bit thick, some of the water out of it. Take that broth and pour it into ice cube molds. Okay? Put it in the freezer. Let it freeze. After it's frozen, take it and break it out of that and put it in baggies. Now, put it in your Ziploc bag, put it back in the freezer. It'll keep for a long time. What I'm trying to tell you is, you can save yourself some money. Because if you make your own chicken broth, you won't be doing what I did and go pay Walmart to stock your chicken broth. So now I'm just cleaning the house again. Okay. While that's cooking, now I'm fixing to steam my veggies. Put all that in there. This comes up. Put that over there. All right. We'll wipe my table off. Now, the next thing we cook, we're going to turn this down real low. Alright. And we're going to pray that it don't burn. But what I'm going to do at this point in my life is I'm fixing to taste it. Because what I want to know is, does it need any salt? Does it need any pepper? Does it need anything else? Now, if I want to know if it's sweet enough, all I need to do is stick my finger in it. It'd be plenty sweet. Y'all might not agree with that. Woo! That's good. Buddy. Now, the next thing.
And if you notice, he's saving a little bit extra in his beard for later.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my dumplings. Okay. Not quite done. Ooh, man. All right. All right. Do what does need. Oh, my partner over here telling me I need to wipe my mouth because I look like a slob. All right. All right. Do I look better, sir?
Yes, you do.
He shook his head yes. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here, this is time, okay? That's time. Not time like on your wristwatch. But I'm going to show you something. Let me see, I pour some in my hand. Now, you know what I got? Got time on my hand. Okay. All right. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of that in there. Come up here and show them how much I put in. Now that's about the right amount, okay? It don't take a lot of time to make a lot of time, okay? It's just, that's the way it is. Now this, that's my salt and pepper mix. And smell that, man. Got a few other things in it besides
start sneezing.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of that in there. Now, there we go. All right. I used to watch old Justin Wilson cook. He would cook with wine. Now, I don't cook with wine. I don't drink wine. I drink fruit juice. but I don't drink concentrated fruit. I had heart problems, and my heart doctor took me off of. He took me off of fruit juice, concentrate. All right. This is not the same spoon I sucked juice off of. This is a clean one. Right. So what I'm going to do here, because what I do is I wait to the end of my cook, near the end, okay, to put my seasoning in, because if I don't, it's very possible that the flavoring of that seasoning can cook away. It will cook away in the steam, it will cook away in your food, and it gets diluted. So what I did a while ago is I put that seasoning in there. And so now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at my time, and I'm going to see what time it is. And it is
4:55.
Oh, 4:55. Well, he said he had to eat. Oh, my district coordinator has got to teach a class, and you met him earlier. That's Alton. He's got to be teaching a class at 6. So I told him his
taking your class.
And he's taking a class. Okay. Well, anyway, I told him his supper would be ready at 5 o'clock. So guess who's not here? Okay. So I'm fixing to put my buddy to calling him to let him know that his supper is ready. Okay, so he can come on down. So what I'm fixing to do now is all I'm going to do all right, I'm going to refire my fire. A miracle. It restarted. Okay, and what I'm going to do here while that's getting ready, okay, folks, you know what most of y'all know. All right, we are doing bird's eye, stream fresh broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. Now, because I'm steaming them, I'm only going to do 1 bag of these. Okay, it don't take just a minute to do more. But if I do 2 bags, as sure as I'm standing here talking to you, ain't nobody going to eat the second bag. But now, if I don't do but 1 bag, everybody gets more in the second bag. But what I'm going to do here is burn my fingers if I'm not careful. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make sure that this thing has got some steam coming out of it, which it does. Can't hardly see it because of the wind blowing out of it. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to boil this, okay? What I want to do is steam it. So I'm going to let my... Again, I'm going to pull my fire down real low, right about there. Put top on, okay? Now, garbage heat. This is what I call garbage fodder. Okay? A lot of things in my life makes good garbage fodder. Of course, none of my friends, they're all good. But, you know, a lot of things that we do in life just really don't make a whole lot of sense. So, me, I like to have fun. I like to cook. I'm cooking outdoors now, which under normal circumstances, I wouldn't forget as much stuff. But being rushed a little bit causes that. But as you'll see, it doesn't really bother me. You know, I've washed my dishes at my house. I mop, I wash dishes, I do the laundry, all that kind of stuff. So I just like having a good time. And I have a good time at everything I do. If I don't do it, like I told you earlier, if I'm not having a good time, I figure I'm in the wrong place. I need to leave. So while we are waiting for, let's see if we got any steam in here yet. Oh yeah. We'll let that steam a little bit more. It's still, some of it's still kind of frozen. Meanwhile, I'm drying my dishes because I got to put them up in a little bit. And so anyway, if y'all are enjoying this, hopefully you'll catch my recipe somewhere down the line and have a good time doing it. So we're gonna take a break right quick while I finish cleaning up my dishes and stuff. I know you don't want to stand here and watch me boringly wash dishes. So we'll be right back, okay, folks? Y'all don't run off. Folks, here we go. I'm fixing to send the vegetable plate and with dumplings down to my director, who is in class right now. Now, my goal is that he has a blast in his class. So he's going to get something to eat. All right, we'll be back to you in a little while.